I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Saks Off 5th is your secret to fashion's most wanted deals at up to 70% off. On the hunt for designer steals that'll turn heads and leave a trail of envy? Uncover Gucci, Valentino, Versace, Stuart Weitzman, and more, with new arrivals dropping weekly at prices too good to stay confidential. Luxe layers, statement boots, and tailored essentials from Saks Off 5th will put your wardrobe on the most wanted list. Head to SaksOff5th.com or a Saks Off 5th store near you for a style lineup you won't want to miss.
Worried about heart health? Listen to this. A study of over 30,000 people found that nattokinase, an ancient Japanese superfood, can reduce heart attack risk by 25% and stroke risk by 33%. Luma Nutrition has perfected a powerful nattokinase formula made in the USA and third-party tested for purity and quality. Ready to start your journey to a healthy heart? You can try nattokinase today for up to 40% off when you visit lumanutrition.com. That's LUMA nutrition.com. lumanutrition.com. Veteran-owned, proudly made in the USA.
Hello, Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. I know not everyone loves a long intro. This one's actually not that long, considering it's episode 500 of the show. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, check out the intro. If not, skip ahead about 8.5 minutes. That'll put you right at the beginning of the call. Thanks so much. I've also got new t-shirts at chrisgethard.bigcartel.com. Go check them out. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here, and I have to just offer up a massive, very genuine thank you to everybody who's been listening to and supporting this show. This is episode number 500 of Beautiful Anonymous, which feels so wild to say. I mean, when we started the show back in 2016, I never would have guessed that we'd make it 9 years, 500 episodes. It feels like such a milestone. But at the same time, when I think about how the show unfolded right out of the gate, and when I saw how people were responding to the idea of real human conversations, of this being a platform for real life, both with people using it as a platform to get their stories into the world, but also consuming the stories as a way to feel connected to other people, to have a sense of where other human beings were at. I go, it's not surprising at all. We kind of have weirdly built an archive of conversation, and I'm proud of that. And it makes sense to me that this idea has survived. Thanks to everybody who has listened, who has spread word, who has been a part of the community. Huge thanks to the people who came out to our 500th episode taping. You're about to hear that taping. I like the episode a lot. I think in many ways it's pretty perfect for a milestone episode for us. We had people who came from Seattle and Wisconsin and all up and down the East Coast. Some people who sat in traffic and drove for 8 hours. I need you all to know that I am massively appreciative of the fact that you showed up. Everybody could hear that I was real worried about ticket sales, but as it tends to happen in this life, it turned out okay. I think the room probably was about 2/3 to 3/4 full, which is not a sellout, but still feels like such a party. And that's kind of where I'm at in my whole career. I'm not really selling it out anymore, but we're still getting nice, healthy crowds, good communities. And I was so thrilled to be able to meet so many of you, talk to you after the show, put on a show, and celebrate. Things are a little different on this episode. We recorded a whole lot of stuff with our live crowd. That's the stuff that's going to go behind the paywall this time. Because it went well, we actually decided to keep the 5 questions, which are usually behind the paywall. Those are going to be in the free feed this time. They're kind of like a quick live show energy version for anybody who's not subscribed. Usually the 5 questions move a little slower. We get into it a slight bit more. This one we had that live crowd sort of manic energy, so they move quick, but you'll get a little taste of what it's like to have those 5 questions. And if it inspires you to subscribe up at beautifulanonymous.com, that's awesome. For the people who are listening who have already subscribed, you're probably going to hear like a big long version of the full taping, which will play a little differently than a regular episode, but wanted you to have the full experience of the live show. And also wanted to just put out there, not huge news. This is something most podcasts just do as a rule, but it's just me and Andrea at this point. And merch is kind of a heavy lift because you got to get it, and you either got to pay somebody to ship it for you or you got to ship it yourself. And if you pay somebody to ship it for you, that's very expensive. If you ship it yourself, you spend a lot of time at the post office. So, we did the magazine earlier this year. We've now got a t-shirt. It's been many years since we had a t-shirt. T-shirt is themed around raccoons and marching bands. Those are 2 topics which have come up, I would say, an outsized amount on the show compared to the actual impact they have in our lives. The raccoons have been mentioned more than I've ever. I don't know that I've ever had a conversation about raccoons outside of Beautiful Anonymous. And the marching band presence on this show with our nerdy crowd is not shocking, but if in 1,000 years archaeologists find us, and Beautiful Anonymous is one of the things they unearthed to learn about humanity from 2016 to 2025, this show would make them think that marching bands had a much larger impact on the daily life of most Americans than they do. So our friend Alex Flannery put together some really good art, funny art of a marching band composed of raccoons with the words Beautiful Anonymous and 500 episodes. You can get it at chrisgethard.bigcartel.com. If you're subscribed at beautifulanonymous.com, make sure you check your feeds. There's some discount codes for you. I hope everybody picks it up and likes it. And I can't thank you enough. You will hear that in a way that really makes me smile. This episode has real frank discussion of mental health. This caller is not hiding the fact that they've been through some real peaks and valleys in terms of their mental health, and that they are a year out from things being serious. They get graphic about that. However, we also always have live crowd participation in our live shows, and I'm very genuinely full of glee when I tell you that this one is sort of mental health, and then in a way that is not forced, in a way that comes up very organically. There's also a running trend of poop stories. And if this show, honestly, over 500 episodes has established anything, is that we're not scared of having very frank conversations about mental health. We are also not above an occasional poop joke. It's a call that in many ways is very sobering, but also the laughs are very real. I think that's real life too, that if we don't, the caller expresses this, if we don't learn how to laugh in the face of our problems, then our problems continue to have a lot of control over us. And laughing is one of the things we can do to wrest that control back and that sense of agency back. I think that's very real. I think that shows up in this call. I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky that we've made it this far. While the numbers on the show are not what they were in 2016, I also feel incredibly proud of what we have and what this community is. I feel like the future of the show continues to be very bright. I also have to say, there's other shows that started around the same time as we did, and maybe they managed to get those numbers to stay up and get even bigger. And some of them even became cottage industries unto themselves. And I'm so happy to see artists out there paying their bills. But I also think that a lot of us, myself included, I don't want to be pretentious, but there is kind of a purity about Beautiful Anonymous and what it is. And I think if we tried to tinker with what it is, or tried to commodify it too much, or tried to franchise it out, whatever, I think a lot of us would feel that while that maybe meant that the show would survive a couple extra years beyond whatever it's going to do, that it would be a bit of a shame. And I do think that I can give myself credit that I've always sensed that as well. And I've tried to just keep this show what it is on a basic level that respects the fact that whatever is special about it would be pretty easy to mess up. So we're not trying to get overly ambitious. And there's been a few times where we've made some changes, and those are always changes where we sit here and we go, are those, if we build a paywall, yep, that will allow it to survive. And I think there's a way to do it that honors what we already have. If we leave our network and go independent, I think that will actually allow us more breathing room to not have to change, to not feel pressure, to be selective about how we adapt. I'm proud of that. I'm really happy about that. And I think this call, you're going to hear a live crowd reacting. And if there's anything that sums it up, it's like, yeah, this super frank conversations about mental health, and also people emailing me their stories about different times that they've had horrible experiences with number 2. Yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing around here for 9 years. I think you're all going to enjoy it. Thanks for supporting the show. Grab a t-shirt if you want one. And thanks to everybody who signed up at beautifulanonymous.com.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello, caller.
Hey. Hi, Jersey.
Hey.
There we go.
That was a strong start. Well done. I like your energy already.
I try. Good. Well, I just have a stress potato. It's like a stress ball, but it's a potato keeping me company. So I think we're gonna be okay.
That's on brand for a listener of this show to tell me what type of stress ball you have to get through an hour with me. I'm so glad you're here. I've started the clock, and clearly you are aware, a whole bunch of people in New Jersey hanging out, and everybody's got good vibes and has your back.
Yeah.
They might offer up some questions along the way. We'll see how it goes. But for now, you and I should just talk.
Sounds good. So I got to hear the question and answer section of your show just now. Yeah. And you said that you make your son run laps around a mental hospital?
Yeah, you missed that part of the warm-up, yes. My son, he's never liked... Yes, out of context, that might be a little strange. My son has never taken to sports. He's 6 years old now, and it's actually been very sweet. We convinced him to sign up for cross-country running. He was kind of lukewarm about it, and he stuck with it mostly because he has one little friend who does it with him. And then I'll tell you, he got to the first meet, and he didn't win a medal or anything. He was in like the top half, though, and no one expected it. Like Hallie and I, cross-country works, they run and you watch them, and they take off in the woods, and then they emerge like 12 minutes later and come down this hill, and, here's all the bigger kids. And then all of a sudden, Hallie's like, "Is that fucking Cal?" And he was like way further ahead than we ever anticipated. And he's taking a lot of pride in it, and he likes the positive feedback. And he'll wake up in the morning and be like, "Do I have a cross-country meet today?" Like, he's into it. He's finally into something. But yes, the place where the cross-country meets happens does also happen to be on the grounds of what used to be a pretty large-sized mental hospital in northern New Jersey. Yes, he does sprint around. It's not a lie. He sprints around at a mental hospital.
Well, I thought that was fitting because Halloween is my 1-year anniversary of not being in a mental hospital for a period of time. So,
hey, congrats.
Yeah.
Although...
That makes it sound like I was in for much longer than it was. It was like two week stints, but they were like 2 weeks apart. So it was like in and then out and then in.
Yeah, I mean, that's a month of your life. That's for real. I will say this, and I'm not trying to be too facetious, and it sounds like you're doing better. I'm glad to hear you have been out for a year, and I hope that it was effective and helped. I will say, I almost think there should be a rule to not release people from a mental hospital on Halloween. I think that's asking for trouble. To get people who have to get their sea legs back in terms of reacclimating to society into a world where children are dressed as literal demons throwing eggs at you. Like it seems like you just wait until All Saints Day? Is that the day after Halloween? You wait till All Saints Day on that one. You hang out at the mental hospital for Halloween.
I went straight into trick-or-treating. But getting out the second time, I was like more about my wits than the first time. The first time I thought Kamala Harris was coming to pick me up and we were going to stop the war in Gaza.
Yeah, I get why. No, I'm not trying to make a joke, but I'm like, I see how you went back a second time.
Please joke away. I wouldn't have called if we weren't joking about it.
Again, we're getting into it. We're getting into it. For any first-timers here tonight, if you're like someone else's date and they're a fan of the show, this is what it is, guys. This is what the show is. But I will say, like, if you were going, hey, Kamala Harris is my ride home and we're going to go straight to Gaza to stop the war, why did they send you home? And I mean no offense, but legit, why would they send you home?
Because I didn't say that part. So, like, day one was, like, yelling that part. And then day 14 was like, oh, I know that's, like, 80% not true. But then when my husband rolls up because he had a rental car and it randomly was like a black SUV that I didn't know of, so I was like, oh wait, maybe we're doing this.
Brought you right back to square one.
Yeah,
that's not cool. If you're having delusions that vice president you're going to go on superhero missions, yeah, you can't roll up in like an SUV with tinted windows. You got to roll up in a very familiar car. Well, I'm sorry that you went through all that. You sound like you're in pretty good spirits right now. You feeling better?
Yeah, definitely feeling pretty stable. Halloween has been fun this year because I missed a lot of the Halloween stuff because even when I was out, I was like more into looking up like Kamala Harris dates than like doing family pumpkin stuff. So definitely getting to do more of that this year has been a lot of fun.
That's good. That's good. I will let you know, you mentioned that you have a stress ball, and our friend Lisa, who's in the crowd, has sent me a message of support for you by letting me know that Lisa is here in the live crowd tonight using a fidget spinner to calm the nerves. So everyone's got their stress devices. That's good. That's good. When you think back to that time from the perspective today, it sounds like you're laughing about it, but must be jarring to think about the fact that it was just a year and change ago that you were having, things that I'm not one to diagnose, but it sounds like some stuff that was delusional or driven by paranoia on some sort. I'm sure you've sorted out what it was.
Yeah, I basically had a underlining bipolar 2 and just had like a complete mental breakdown and had like full-blown mania. So I got diagnosed with bipolar through this.
And do you feel like you've got the right treatment now? You feel like things are headed in the right direction? You're feeling good?
Yeah, I think so. It's
That's
always
really
scary to be like, oh, if it could like happen again, like what happens? But I feel pretty stable.
Yeah, it's I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but as someone who has struggled with a lot of my own version of things, that doesn't go away. That doesn't go away. I think if it did go away, though, it would probably be a sign that actually things were slipping. Like if I was never at least somewhat like 3 to 4% worried about my mental health, it would be a sign that my mental health was actually slipping. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's not a world in
That's
which I'm like, actually, I'm totally good to go. Like if that ever shows up, Andrea will call the police.
So I actually, when I was manic, I did like message Beautiful Anonymous on like Instagram because I was like, your show can help the DOD department in like helping with anxiety and depression and mental health in like DOD situations.
Andrea runs the Instagram, behind the scenes info. Andrea runs the Instagram and is actively trying to find your message right now. I'm looking it up. Your anonymity will be retained with me, but Andrea's looking for the message. We will see. And we've also got other people now checking in about their favorite stress balls. Kelly is a teacher with ADHD who recommends the Nito Nice Cube stress ball. Says it has changed my life. Highly recommend. I love this community where people start comparing stress balls. And Patricia wants to know, what do you think it is? What's worked for you to feel more secure in your daily life?
Well, the high dose of medication that they keep me on. And honestly, that's probably been the biggest thing, if I'm honest. Like, I was in therapy before. I'm in therapy still now. I feel like I'm acting basically the same in therapy as I did before. But drugs, man, they work.
When you find the right ones, it really feels like a weight lifts off your shoulder, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. It's not instant. But when you realize, like, oh, it might actually... I always remember that when I got on the right meds, I remember feeling like, oh, for the first time in like 10 years, I feel like I have some breathing room in life. Like, I just have some time to figure out how I feel about stuff before I'm headed down some road I never saw coming. It's really nice to get that breathing room back.
Yeah. I remember they tried to, like, dial my meds down a little bit, because I was having a reaction to them, and then it was just like way worse. It was like, no, it's fine. We need to solve this a different way than dialing down this med, because that's not the solution.
Are you comfortable sharing what the side effects were?
Oh, sure. So I'm a female and I have breasts, and my breasts were leaking because I had too much prolactin, which also makes it so you have lower estrogen. And apparently if you don't have estrogen, your bones can just become brittle and die if you're a female. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
So you had brittle dying bones while your breasts leaked out. Great. But I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. So they solved it with different meds. Just adding more meds on top.
I remember the first medication I was on would make me fall asleep. Like, I'd be totally wide awake, and then all of a sudden be like, I gotta lay down. Like, it would be like 10 seconds I'd be sound asleep. And I remember once being very scared, and this was 20-something years ago when we didn't talk about this stuff. And I remember I was driving, actually. I worked at a magazine called Weird New Jersey, and it was at like the heyday of Weird New Jersey, and I was driving the van, dropping off boxes at different Barnes and Nobles around the state, and all of a sudden was like, oh no. And I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm going to fall asleep. And she was like, are you driving? I was like, yeah. And I pulled over and slept on a stack of Weird New Jersey boxes in the back of a van at a rest stop on the Garden State Parkway. Slept in a van. But again, and that was me like feeling like, man, I'm back on track. I'm crushing it. Sleeping in a van on the side of a highway. I'm really feeling like I'm bouncing back in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Now, caller, I will say, I love talking about all this stuff. We are a show that's never been shy about talking about mental health. It's important to talk about it, laugh about it, normalize the conversation. Andrea has informed me that your actual pitch, though, was, what's up with porkroll? That's what you said you were going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I said both. Well, if we need to get lighter, we can always talk about Jersey stuff.
We can.
Like,
we don't have to.
All my in-laws are from Jersey.
It sounds like South Jersey.
And it's variety of my in-laws. Some are from like North Jersey. Some are what I believe would be called Central Jersey, but I know that may or may not be a thing.
We're currently in Central Jersey, which does exist, and I'm not mad about it. And I know you all say pork roll too, but I do believe pork roll linguistically is probably rooted in South Jersey, heading north here, as opposed to Taylor Ham heading south. I'm getting booed. I'm getting booed. Caller, Andrea's cackling with fucking joy.
Wait. I thought Taylor Ham was North Jersey.
That's what I'm saying. And we're in Central Jersey where it shifts into pork roll country. And I did just imply that they can't make their own decisions, that they picked it up from South Jersey instead of making an active choice here in Central Jersey. And people started booing, and one person made a cat hiss noise, and it freaked me out. And that's what's up with porkroll. It's a thing that actually I think in Jersey we have all collectively decided recently that we don't care. It's like a thing I think outsiders are analyzing more, but it is a thing weirdly enough that we will, like I have to admit, we will still fight about it. I'm already getting messages. Central Jersey exists. I know.
Hold on. I told a table full of Jersey people that pork roll is basically bologna, and I got my head chewed off. So I think you guys do care about pork roll.
I've never seen a live show turn. Honestly, 4 minutes ago, they were like, holy shit, you're being so open and honest about your mental health, Jersey, in a way that pulls no punches. We support you. We love you. And then you compared one meat to another, and they're like, fuck off, hang up. Actually getting heckled. Actual heckles now. We do have some emails coming, many emails pouring in right now. Vicky wants me to know that has also taken a nap on the side of a highway, driving from Atlantic City to Kearney, had to sleep at a rest stop. I'm glad I'm not alone in that. Thank you, Vicky. Kelly Jones trying to make me say Taylor Ham more. Sarah says this is way too north to be Central Jersey, everybody. Oh, my goodness. We are in the middle of a fight. Oh, Emily wants to know what you're dressing up as for Halloween, your first Halloween out.
Oh, I have like 3 costumes, actually. So I have the family costume where I'm dressing up as She-Hulk. I'm doing a Halloween 5K where I'm dressing up as a ghost from Pac-Man. And
That's
then,
awesome.
For work, I'm being Mario.
Wait, you said family costume as She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Who are the other members of the family? Other Marvel characters?
No. So this is my 2-year-old's fault. My 2-year-old picked out Hulk and wants to be Hulk, and then my 4-year-old saw that the 2-year-old had Hulk and was like, well, I want to be Hulk. So then it's just 4 Hulks.
They're back on your side, caller. Libby wants you to know that it's actually not the DOD anymore. It's the Department of War, and that is not a delusion, at least not yours. Well done, Libby. Well done. So many pork roll and Central Jersey related emails coming in. Caller, hearing that you have young kids, my heart really goes out to you because knowing that you kind of hit a wall and needed to deal with a bunch of stuff. It sounds like you had the young ones at home already, huh?
Yeah.
That compounds the stress, huh?
But my husband's like a real champ. Jersey guys make the best dads, so.
There you go. Where's he from?
He's from Tinton Falls.
Tinton Falls? That's right down the goddamn road from where we are. Everybody's feeling
Central,
local
so,
pride.
You know.
So he stepped up. He had your back?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Excuse me, I just sneezed. Thank you so much. It's how did do you feel like what's the policy? Do you shield the kids from this? Do you talk with the kids about this? Does dad talk with the kids about this? Do you hold off on it because they're so young and you don't want to scare them? How do you deal with mental health stuff with young kids at home?
Well, so I was gone for like 2 weeks, so they knew that I was gone. And like, if you strip away the word mental from it, it's actually pretty easy. So he was just like, Mom's in the hospital because she's sick. Mm-hmm. And then like, they see me take my medicine every day and they're like, well, I used to call it brain candy, but then that became a problem because then my 4-year-old wanted brain candy.
Really? Telling a 4-year-old that medicine is candy didn't work out okay?
Yeah, so now it's just Mom's medicine to make her so she doesn't have to go back to the hospital. And, like, he gets that. The 2-year-old doesn't know anything that's happening.
Yeah. I don't want to pry too much. Do you feel like any of it was postpartum related?
It could have been. It was, like, on the verge of, like, being where it could have been postpartum. It was probably related to getting wrongfully fired and stressed out in that situation. Totally, like, sparked it. And I worked I worked at like a national lab, so there was a lot of like don't talk about mental health type stuff. So there wasn't really any signs of being bipolar beforehand, but if they were, I would have been terrified because I didn't want to lose my clearance.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's heavy stuff. And where did you say you worked? I missed it.
At like a national lab.
A national lab?
That was like it was DOD related. I don't want to say the specific
No,
name.
okay. No, yeah. Let's all go ahead and keep that vague. We don't want to start actually slamming government agencies on recorded audio in 2025. I'm totally cool with that. I'm not trying to have dickheads in masks descend upon Nicholas Creamery next door looking for me. Which, by the way,
look,
fucking fantastic ice cream place.
I was already threatened with a cease and desist, so I don't want to do anything.
Really? You went bipolar and talked enough shit that the government gave you a cease and desist?
They said the next step would be give me a cease and desist.
Hell yeah. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I don't wish you went through upon anybody, and I'm not trying to glorify it in any way, but if you are going to have a break, it should at least lead to a cease and desist from the Department of Defense. At least you went out like a fucking boss. Let's pause right there. I don't think anything feels more true in 2025 than that. You're going to have a mental break. Let's at least go big and concern the authorities. Anyway, we've got our advertisers. They help make this show survive. It allows us to put the show out. Check out the advertisers. We'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack and hydration sponsor. IQ Bar is the better-for-you plant protein-based snack made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ Bars, 8 IQ Mix Sticks, and 4 IQ Joe Sticks. I love all of these products. IQ Mix has become a strange obsession in my life. It's a zero-sugar drink mix that hydrates with electrolytes. It improves your mood. It boosts clarity. I think the flavors are great. I started out a big-time IQ Bar guy. I still am, but IQ Mix has really gotten in my head in a big way. It's great. And IQ Joe, which my wife calls coffee sticks, is a jitter-free instant coffee. It's got 200 milligrams of natural caffeine in there. Comes in 4 different flavors. They're better than any brewed coffee. It's really great products from IQ Bar. There's over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting. More people than ever are fueling their busy lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. I have said it throughout the ad. I will say it again. I love their stuff. IQ Bar is really, honestly bringing the heat. I eat IQ Bars for breakfast all the time. I drink IQ Mix pretty much every day, and my wife could not be a bigger fan of IQ Joe. Really, truly, and genuinely, IQ Bar products are huge in my household, and I dig them, and I think you will too. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the sampler pack plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Text BEAUTIFUL to 64000. That's BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. The weather is cooling. You're feeling it. Those leaves are changing colors. The fall is here. It's time to swap out those pieces from the summer to new ones that get the job done. Warm, durable, built to last. That's Quince. Quince delivers every time with wardrobe staples that'll carry you through the season. Quince has the kind of fall staples you'll actually want to wear on repeat, like 100% Mongolian cashmere from just $60, classic fit denim, real leather and wool outerwear that looks sharp and holds up. If you go through the site right now, that suede trucker jacket's looking good. That one jumps out at me. Perfect for layering. Looks casual, but it also looks put together. Quince partners directly with ethical factories and top artisans. That's very important because it allows Quince to cut out the middlemen and deliver premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. It is no joke. I've been wearing my Quince sweaters for years. They hold up remarkably well compared to similar brands. The price point is on target, and they look good, and they feel good, and Quince is really above board, and they're not lying. They have really, really good stuff at really good prices. Layer up this fall with pieces that feel as good as they look. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call.
At least you went out like a fucking boss.
Yeah, it was an interesting time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. How do you still think about it every day, or are you able to have days where it's not omnipresent?
Not every day. Like this month has been more so thinking about it just because it's like a year ago. But somewhat, so like with the whole, if you keep talking, we're going to give you a cease and desist. They were like, you can't contact anybody you previously worked with.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a bummer. Like LinkedIn constantly is like, you should connect with this person and you should connect with this person. And I'm like, I can't. So stop bumming me out.
Yes, LinkedIn is like, you should connect with this person. And the government is like, watch your fucking step.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it sounds like you went pretty hard, huh?
Yeah, like, I didn't even think I went that well. Okay, I was trying to contact the director of the National Lab who, like, has ties to the White House. But
yeah, I mean, if you're reaching out to high-level government officials saying, like, hey, tell Kamala to reach out when it's go time, I get why they're like, well, this is of some concern. Like, I do get it.
Yeah.
We have some emails that have come in. Sem sent one that made me laugh, which says, which is a thing that I actually weirdly kind of agree with. Central Jersey is just Rutgers. I get what you mean. I do. It doesn't make logical sense, but I think we all know exactly what you mean. Says, I haven't slept on the side of the parkway, but I should have read this. I haven't slept on the side of the parkway, but I definitely sharted on the way home from Sea Isle. That mile marker will never be the same. Thank you so much. Sorry I read your name before. I totally understood the content of your rather distinct name before. We maybe can bleep that, Andrea. Maybe we can bleep that. That's just a live crowd exclusive. This is a great question from... let's get to some of the other funny ones first, and then I'll go back to that. John reached us out and said, I'm going to just go... Oh, my goodness. I can't believe this is the new track. John says, and I'll leave out your last name, once on a drive from Massachusetts to New Jersey, I had an explosive number 2 and had to pull over on the side of the road for an emergency blowout. When that episode had exhausted itself, I came back to my car exhausted and fell asleep. I was awakened by an angry trooper rapping on my window with his nightstick, yelling at me to stop sleeping and get back to driving. The banging on the window really startled me, and I'm pretty sure I had a tiny accident with another explosive release. I'm so glad that this one is really serious talk of mental health and then stories of shitting ourselves on highways. Daniel points out that porkroll was born in central New Jersey over in Trenton, or Trenton, as I should say it as a proper New Jersey resident. Paul said, as a non-New Jersey resident, can you explain what porkroll is all about? So actually people don't know. We have our own breakfast meat here in New Jersey. The way it generally works is in North Jersey, we call it Taylor ham and insist we're correct. But the great Pete Genovese, who's the number one food writer in this state, has made it clear it's actually... The type of meat is called pork roll. The brand is Taylor ham. We all get it. The brand is Taylor. Taylor's spice. Oh, everyone's mad. Everyone's mad. And you bring this up in a room in New Jersey and everyone gets mad, which is fair. But let's get back on track. Now, I love, if this just became people emailing me stories of shitting themselves on highways, and then we bounce back and forth between that and Mental health, what an absolute great celebration of 500 episodes of this show. Libby, with a fantastic question, though. Do you think it is a pervasive problem of people not seeking help because of security clearance? Nathan Fielder showed this to be an issue with pilots. And it is, the rehearsal was that's a wild show and really fascinating. But you said a very quick yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I lost my clearance because they didn't want to do the investigation. So someone your employer holds your clearance, but then usually you have if you lose your job, you have 3 years until you find another employer who can hold your clearance. But for me, because of the bipolar event, that flagged where they would have to do an investigation, and because I didn't have employment, they didn't want to do the investigation, so they just made it so I lost my clearance, which made finding another job much harder.
Yeah, because that's something I'm sure you have to. I mean, having had clearances in a lot of job searches, I would imagine a real resume builder. Having to explain why you don't have it is a bad position to be in. How do you feel about that? It's tough because the emotional part of me is man, they obviously should help. And to create a culture where you're scared to talk about your mental health because you might lose your job is only going to make people break more and make people who are unwell stay in positions that they might not be capable of fulfilling, or that they will give them access to info that maybe they're not in a place to have because nobody wants to lose their job, so they will hide it. I also sit here though and I go, I know myself when I was a young man and I had mental breaks, I would not have wanted looking back on it, I would not feel safe with me in a mental break having security clearance. I wonder how you feel about all of it.
I didn't have codes to the nuclear bomb. And the fun fact is that I still have the national secrets that they told me in my head. So if anything, the fact that I went through a break and didn't say those national secrets, I think should make me more eligible.
Look at that. You proved yourself. You proved yourself. You're like a vault. You know legit national secrets?
Yeah.
Wow, you said that.
One. I know
one.
One.
I'm not going to ask what it is because I don't want to put you in that position. But man, do I want to know.
Don't worry, I wouldn't tell you.
No, I know. I can tell. I can tell.
Oh, man, do I want to tell people? It's super cool, but I can't tell anyone. I mean, I can't even tell my husbend. So.
Is it is it one that would scare us or one that would be like, oh, shit, rad?
It depends on how you feel on things. It did make me as a Democrat, be partly upset, but then I was but this thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, people are yelling, say less. No one wants you to get in trouble, but I can speak on not just everyone in this room in Atlantic Highlands tonight, but anyone who will hear this audio. We're all going to fucking wonder forever. That's awesome. We have some questions coming in to help guide this. Oh, you're in Jersey. Vicky immediately just writes, tell us the secrets. Simple as that. Lindsay asking, can we play Two Truths and a Lie with the national secret? Paul wants to know if there are aliens. Also, Jeff wants to know two different ones about aliens. So Jim asking if it's the recipe to KFC. Everyone's guessing. Mark says, what are your top 3 favorite national secrets we won't tell? Paul. Oh my God, they're all pouring in. Nicole, I think you'll laugh at this. Nicole wants to know, was your mental break caused by the lab experimenting on you? Almost like the origin of a Marvel movie of some sort. What else?
No, okay, but I did basically the first stint of mental hospital was thinking that it was like a CIA experiment where we were running like a game to see if we could stop the Gaza war, and so that all of these people were not actually mental patients, but they were like simulators for, not like robots, like they were human, but they had like people in their ear, and they were simulators for other people like Kamala Harris or like my husband or stuff like that.
So you thought on some level this is almost like they were assembling the A-Team or the Avengers, and that's how they were getting everybody together? Wow.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, no more jokes about
I watch
that.
far too much Marvel.
Libby wants to know, how many people do you think know your national secret? Great question, Libby.
Oh, solidly 30 to 50. No, got to be more than that. Well, no different parts. It's compartmentalized. So, like, people get read in at different levels of the secret.
But you think there's less than 100
people
people in the world that know a thing you know?
Well, let's see. Sure. Yeah.
Holy
less
shit.
than 100 feels
I'm going to
right.
tell you one of the best Jersey-themed questions that could... Lindsay's just going, was it about those drones? We all still... Hold on. Caller, if you know anything, if you don't know what's being referenced here, because this was over a year ago, and you heard that reaction to it, we all saw a bunch of crazy fucking drones in the sky. We saw them for days. Everybody was like, what the hell's going on? And then the government first was like, hey, like, you know, we know what this is. And then a few days later, they were like, none of those were drones, guys. And we were all like, we were standing on our sidewalks with our neighbors watching them. Do you know what was up with those drones, caller?
No, I don't know what's up with those drones, but it sounds very...
Jersey wants
very
to know.
reasonable.
Jersey has not forgotten that drone bullshit. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Everyone has so many questions about it. If you told Andrea the national secret, would she hang up on you before you could finish telling her? Burned, Andrea.
I mean, given that I told everybody that I had, like, mental health problems, they might just, like, think that I need to go back into a mental hospital at this point.
Andrea says, if you tell the secret, I will bleep it, I promise, but I'm not going to allow you to do that. That's a bad idea. Emily wants to know, do you know where they're using all the glitter? Saying the government apparently uses a ton of glitter, but no one knows exactly where or why.
No, I have no idea about glitter, but it should be easy to trace. It gets everywhere.
Gloria here says, my uncle worked at a national lab for most of his career. His wife struggled with her mental health. They did not seek treatment because it could have threatened his security clearance. The theory is that mental health challenges are something to be embarrassed about and that you could be blackmailed. So it could lead to blackmail.
Yes. Which, like, in the theory, was why you should go and seek. Now, they do, like, say you should go and seek, but there's so much, like, lore around that you shouldn't, like, go and seek mental health that, yeah. I mean, they also only recently was, like, you can't have multiple, like, partners or, like, how much sex you're having and stuff like that used to be in the clearance questionnaire, too.
Wait, that used to be, or that sounds, I'm not trying to be too political. That sounds like one that would have been added recently.
They removed some of it.
Really?
Oh, well, I don't know anything about super recently, but they removed, because it used to be like, basically, if you were gay, you were fucked and, like, couldn't get a clearance.
Is that true?
And so they removed the wording, or, like, it was worded in a way where it sounded like that. And they removed that. Like some of the promiscuous sex stuff they removed.
I would have to imagine that whatever you're doing, if you're working in an area where there's all these pressures, concerns, where there's questionnaires that indicate that you'll be in trouble if you lie about the truth of your reality, and maybe even subtly insinuate at least that you might be monitored for these things or surveyed, I wouldn't be shocked if I would actually have to say I would be shocked if it wasn't the case that a lot of people have probably had mental breaks. That'll drive anybody over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a sad one-word answer.
Well, I don't know how to, my next thought was to, completely bum everybody out, so I wasn't sure if we wanted to go there.
Well, why don't you, hold on, why don't you bum everybody out? I'll say, Vicky, well, I'll tell a joke that was sent to me. You bum everybody out, and then I'll bounce back with another joke. Vicky said, the DOD sure hates to see a polycule coming. So we'll start at that. Now you bum everybody out, and then I got one that I think will get us to bounce back.
So about 2 months before my mental break, somebody else had a mental break and ended up on vacation with their family, hanging themselves and losing their life by suicide. And that was 2 weeks before I had a mental break. And it's the same thing over and over again, which is why I was trying to get the director of the lab to notice something and make changes. But at that point, I was a little too manic to do any good.
That's super sad. Also, for you to have...
I told you I was going to bum everyone out.
I know, and let alone that, you feel this happening to yourself. You saw it end in someone else's death. You've got kids at home. You feel like you're trying to flag it. You feel like you're drowning in those feelings. That's an indescribable pressure cooker, and I'm so sorry you went through it. I think you'll also be happy to hear that Mike emailed and said, I know the secret. It's that Trump has a tiny little dick.
That's it. I'll confirm that.
I think more than 100 people know that national secret from what we've heard about our president's past habits. This is, I have to say, it's really remarkable that you have such a sense of humor about all this. It sounds so bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's my coping mechanism. That's how we get through life in this household. Yeah. We've had a few moments that were pretty traumatic that we just kind of laugh about. My son actually almost died when he was 3 weeks old. He had an acute pulmonary hemorrhage, so he just had bleeding in his lungs all of a sudden. But now we just call it the disco bloodbath and refer to the time that he was on fentanyl and that's why he doesn't feel pain as a tornado 4-year-old.
I want to make sure I heard that right.
Disco bloodbath.
The disco bloodbath. Yeah, I mean, you got to make a joke. I mean, if you as a parent, if you don't make jokes about that one, you sit there and stress about it literally forever. So I get that. I'm glad he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's 2 years ago, he got released from the clinic where they were watching his lungs, and he had finally outgrown the scar tissue. So he's a tornado. He's awesome.
That's good. I'm glad. And now he's part of a family of Hulks that shall rampage through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Are you doing is it your She-Hulk and then is it all traditional Hulks, or are we talking Red Hulk? Are we talking Immortal Hulk? There's many. Gray Hulk, Joe Fixit. There's so many different Hulks.
The 4-year-old demanded that no Red Hulk because he's mean.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wanted just traditional Hulk. So we're just 4 traditional Hulks with She-Hulk, or 3 traditional Hulks with She-Hulk.
I wonder. I want to know. We've heard about how your last job ended. We heard that you had treatment. We heard that it's been a year. I'm wondering, as you think about moving forward, which, as you said, you're in a position where things went down in a way where you have some explaining to do, uphill climb. Do you have a game plan? Are you working again? Do you know what?
Oh, yeah. I have a job.
Nice.
I've been employed for 6 months.
Yeah?
So.
You feeling good about it?
Yeah, I am. It's slightly different. It's more manufacturing than kind of cutting edge stuff. There's no government secrets with this one, but it's good. I'm mostly supporting other people, so they come with me with questions, and I help them, and I like helping people. So
Nice. That sounds much more relaxed.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. Lisa emailed and said it's very on brand for Beautiful Anonymous to have a call where we've talked about all these things, and it's not even that depressing. We've got about 20 minutes left, caller. This one's flying by.
So I'm not going to do it, but I thought about how this is the 500th episode, and you said you have to air it anyways. And then I thought about how, like, in the very beginning, you would, like, this was more a comedy sketch idea.
I've been saying for years, I've been waiting for someone to call up and just fuck with me and hold me hostage on the air, yeah. I've said this for 9 years.
Well, yeah, but you said that, like, the caller could hang up any time, but I'm, like, strapped here for an hour. And I was like, what if I got, like, halfway in and I just, like, hung up?
Yeah, you could. If you wanted to go from being everybody's hero to the greatest villain in the history of this show. Let's pause, because I love this. I remain baffled that no one in 9 years has called up just to screw with me and mess with my emotions. It speaks to both the good-hearted nature of the people who like this show, and also is just completely amazing to me. Will this caller start to mess with me? Let's find out when we get back. If you're out there running a business, you know that hiring can be such a hassle. It can be a distraction from your time. It can be a drain on your budget. Upwork is here to help. Upwork is your one-stop shop to find, hire, and pay top freelance talent, saving you time and keeping costs in check, all in one place. With more than 2 decades of experience with a simple and ambitious goal, Upwork is out here to pioneer a better way of working. Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in the way they staff key projects and initiatives. By accessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, admin support, marketing, and more. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, even book a consultation, and from there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com. Right now, if you check the headlines, you notice there's all sorts of headlines about data breaches, regulatory rollbacks. We're vulnerable. Everybody's info is vulnerable right now, but you can do something about it because Delete Me is here. And Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online. Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping you and your family's personal info from these really insidious data broker websites. Delete Me knows your privacy is worth protecting. You can sign up right now at www.joindeleteme.com/beautiful. Let Delete Me know exactly what info you want deleted. Their experts get to work and take it from there. I have been blown away by this service. I've said it a million times. I was in a situation that was genuinely pretty nerve-wracking. And I really felt like, especially having my kid around, that I wanted this info to be protected. And Delete Me stepped in, and I watched them do a better job than any other service I had worked with before. And I am telling you that as someone who really wanted to protect his own privacy, Delete Me has been a godsend. They've really stepped up. Their communication is on point. And I feel safer because I'm a Delete Me user personally. And I feel like my family's safer. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. You get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to www.joindeleteme.com/beautiful and use the promo code beautiful at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is go to www.joindeleteme.com/beautiful. Enter code beautiful at checkout. That's www.joindeleteme.com/beautiful. code BEAUTIFUL. Thanks so much to our advertisers. Now let's finish the phone call. If you wanted to go from being everybody's hero to the greatest villain in the history of this show, but I always thought it was going to be like, I thought it was going to be like people calling up and like making fart noises or speaking in languages I don't know, or just like using soundboards while I'm like, I've for 9 years been baffled that no one has ever just held me hostage to just mess with me on this line. It's actually kind of astounding.
That makes me think of that one caller with the deaf caller and how they were like just made the interpreter say a bunch of things like fart, banana,
potato. Yeah. That
potato.
one was that one I couldn't. Now we're just going down memory lane, but I remember that was one of the ones that stopped me in my tracks because I found it so hard to fathom that we had a deaf caller, and then realized that the caller's whole point was about people's ignorance about accessibility. And my whole reaction for the first half of that call was like, but you can't listen to an audio medium. And then it took me so many times to be like, oh, wait, this is where you fucking shut up and learn, Gethard. Come on, man.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Did Andrea ever find the Instagram message? Because I feel like that would be a hard thing to find.
Andrea said she was not really looking and would not blow up your spot like that.
Oh.
Why do you want it? Do you want us to?
I don't know. I thought it'd be fun.
I think if you search the word Kamala in the inbox, come up pretty quick. Don't search Gaza because that one gets in our inbox a lot.
It was Instagram.
If you search Gaza, you will actually find a lot of people mad at me from multiple directions.
I don't think Kamala was in your one. I think it was just DOD.
DOD. If we search DOD, and Andrea, y'all copy and paste it to me so I don't know the caller's name, but if we find it, let's do it. Although, caller, you tell me, is that like a funny trip down memory lane for you? Or is it going to be tough to be like,
I think it'd be funny.
Okay. All right. Okay. Caller, did you hear the part where I talked about what I did earlier today?
No, I just heard the Q&A.
So about 6 hours ago, I had a device shoved up my asshole and a rubber band placed around a hemorrhoid inside of me. And a few people have noticed in the crowd, I haven't been reading these emails, that I haven't sat down for the first 42 minutes of the call. And I did just sit down, and I know who this person is, and he has a very dignified job. As soon as I sat down, he wrote, "Did the rubber band hold?" Kelly also saying, "I'm shocked Chris brought up the soundboard. Andrea, it is your time to shine." Andrea's been messing with me. Oh, Lori wants to know, do you prefer bologna to pork roll?
No, I think pork roll is actually pretty... Well, okay, my husband's upstairs, but I think Taylor ham is actually better because it's usually thinner.
Okay.
But that's my preference.
I'll reserve my North Jersey elite glee that you said that. Okay.
But I guess if you just took any pork roll and cut it really thin, then that would be acceptable.
Caller, we're going to focus back up on you in a second. But I do just need to say that Jeff is a champion here in our crowd who sent us the following email. And I can't believe this is so many things I like about this show. I didn't poop just one time. I got a lower intestine infection while driving Anthrax, the band. I had to make frequent rest stops and eventually go to the hospital because I couldn't stop pooping. And Anthrax, the band, just assumed I was on drugs. And I will say that's not just a very Jersey story. I would actually say that's a very Monmouth County, New Jersey story right there. Driving a band around while pooping your pants all over the country. Ashley wants to know, fuck, marry, kill, mortadella, Taylor ham, and bologna. Which processed meat would you fuck? Which would you marry? Which would you kill? Mortadella, Taylor ham, or bologna?
What's mortadella?
You just lost.
Sorry.
You gotta be
I
careful
just
next
lost
time you
the
step
entire
foot in
crowd.
Jersey. Mortadella is like a spiced ham,
What
right?
is it?
Yeah, it's kind of how. Okay, the Italian people in the crowd are getting very mad at me. It's not under the general genre of a spiced ham. What do we call them? What is a mortadella?
It's like
The original bologna. That's all clear. Everything's been cleared up.
Okay.
Okay, Emily wants to redirect it back to you. What do you do for fun outside of work?
Oh, play with my children mostly. I like to ride my mountain bike sometimes if I get out. I did my first triathlon ever, and
Whoa.
I'm not that fit of a person, so that
When
was
did you
pretty
do that?
cool. That was in September, like
a
the
month
weekend
ago?
after Labor Day. Yeah.
Look at that. Get out. You spend a year in and out of the mental hospital, and by the next year, you're doing triathlons? That's awesome.
That was actually pretty. I had signed up to do that triathlon, but couldn't do it because I was in a mental hospital. So a year later, I got to actually do it.
Not trying to be too facetious, did you sign up for triathlons as part of your training for the Gaza mission with Kamala? It
no,
tracks.
but I yeah. No, not with that one. I wasn't too manic when I signed up for the triathlon.
Good. That's good. Mania is scarier than depression, I would argue, by the way. I would argue that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Triathlons seem impossible to me. That seems so hard.
The swim was pretty scary because I'm not a big swimmer. And I had done it, all my training in a pool. And then when I saw it, the mileage spewed out in a straight line, I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can swim that far.
So you were in a pool for training. What type of body of water were you in for the actual triathlon?
A reservoir.
A reservoir. My wife has a friend who did a triathlon here in New Jersey where you swam in the ocean down near Atlantic City, and they had to cancel the triathlon because the currents, like the riptides, were sucking all the triathletes out to sea. For real.
Jesus. Yeah,
they were everybody.
I'm too afraid of that.
It's a biathlon, everybody. They were like, officially biathlon. We can't keep rescuing you assholes.
Let's see. I could tell you about the time where I was having a medical emergency and didn't know it.
Okay.
So this was a postpartum thing. Have you ever heard of? You've probably heard of preeclampsia, but have you ever heard of postpartum preeclampsia?
Talk me through this.
So basically, it's like preeclampsia, but it happens anywhere between right after you have the baby up to 2 weeks after you have the baby. So I was in the 2 week marks, and lucky for me, I had a C-section. So I actually went into the doctor's office after 2 weeks to get a checkup for the C-section part. And all that looked good, and they do my blood pressure, and it's wicked high. And so they get 5 different people to check my blood pressure, and they're all wicked high. But I feel fine. And they're like, you need to go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital. There's a guy literally bleeding from his head in the ER, and I get shoved to the front of the line of the ER in front of the person bleeding from their head.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is going on here? But oh well, this is fine. So I get back there, they take my blood pressure, and I make a joke about something, and she's like, you're having a medical emergency. And I'm like, what? I am? And so then I had to do get a magnesium drip and do 48 hours in the hospital, all from never feeling anything. But they were like, you were about to have a seizure and die. And I was like, well, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been through some bad shit.
Yeah. The moral of that
shit.
story is everyone should get their blood pressure checked, especially after having a baby.
Yeah, sounds like it. And then you don't have to worry at all about running a triathlon shortly after that?
That was like 2 years after.
Still, I'm not running triathlon. Really, that's just the end of the sentence. Why even qualify? We all know. No one's looking at me like, don't doubt yourself on that one. I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad you're still standing. I'm glad you're having fun with your family. And I'm glad you're bouncing back from all these things.
Yeah, humor, baby.
Yeah. I love it. Lindsay has emailed and says, it hurts to watch me sit. She's now the third person who has told me that I should be sitting on a pillow. Robert, revisiting an old topic, said, America is too divided, and so is New Jersey. Porkroll versus Taylor ham? Who cares? At least it's not fucking Scrapple, which, well done. And then this I would normally avoid, but we've got a few minutes left, and because it's the 500th episode, I'll ask it. Paul wants to know, caller, and I want to thank you for calling. Paul wants to know what's your favorite episodes of Beautiful Anonymous?
Ooh, what's my favorite?
Yeah, normally we would not be that self-indulgent, but it's a big day for us. That's why we have these balloons that no one can read.
Okay, this is super, like, recentism, but the one with Boing, like, I was doing triathlon training after listening to that episode, and I was like, if Boing can do it, I can do it. If Boing can do it, I can do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That feels good. That was a great answer. Matt has encouraged me to sit on one of the O-shaped balloons. Libby also just said maybe you can sit on one of the balloons. You have 3 tries.
Was this like an emergency thing, or did you schedule this for your 500th call?
No. It was really bad happenstance. I did not intentionally schedule a hemorrhoid procedure for earlier in the day of this call. In fact, I talked to the doctor and was like, I'd really prefer not to today. And he was like, you're already here, man. Let's just get it done. I'll say this, too. It's the second time I've had this done in the past 2 months. And the first time, I walk into this room, and I know I got the hemorrhoids. And if you've dealt with hemorrhoids, I'm not going to, you know when you're dealing with them. And the doctor walks in, and he's in a suit. And this is the first time I'm meeting him. And he comes in, and he says, this is Dr. Chen. She's a junior doctor in training. She's observing me today. Are you okay with that? I said, of course. Happy to have someone observe this consultation. And he is in a suit. And I don't know if any of you are like me, but when someone is wearing a suit, I'm just generally under the assumption that they're not going to place their fingers in my asshole. And things went from 0 to 60 really quick. He went from the left lane right to the exit. You know what I mean? Like he pulled one of those. And he's like, let's just see what's going on and let's get the banding done. If it needs to happen, it needs to happen. And he put me on this table where you go chest down. And I've never seen this. The table rises up straight. So your asshole is at eye level and he doesn't need to. And then it goes like zzz, zzz, and bends like at a V. So your asshole's just in the air at his eye level. And then he's doing it. And it was halfway through. I was like, wait, it's fucking Dr. Chen still? Oh, God damn it. And I realized that this younger doctor was still watching the whole thing. Hannah also says, you want to talk crazy meats? In North Carolina, we have liver mush. That's what it's called, liver mush. I've never heard of that. Did the doctor keep his jacket on? Yeah, he did.
Was it buttoned?
What'd you say?
The jacket was
unbuttoned. He's not that good.
Okay.
He was really nice, but he bore an eerie physical resemblance to Rob Schneider. Totally true. Caller, sounds like the recent past had some stuff to get over. Sounds like the present is feeling good, and you're using humor to keep things in your life, in your household, feeling focused and above board, and most importantly, communicative. Brain candy is not the phrase to use around a toddler, but to hear that the kids know mommy went to the hospital, the kids know mommy takes medicine to stay out of the hospital. This is communication that's going to serve your kids well in the long run, not hiding things, not letting shame become a factor. So the present feels good. I'm sure a year out, there's still moments of nerves, of doubt. You've mentioned that, you know. How are we feeling about the future?
Good. I don't know. Like, I guess particularly with my career stuff, I just want to stay stable, so I don't really see too far in the future. With my at-home stuff, solid, like, my husband and I have been through so much stuff that I'm just like, we're going to be married forever. Like, that's it. And my kids are wonderful and excited about things in the future as they grow up, but enjoying the present as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And your oldest one is what, preschool? About to head to kindergarten?
Yeah, next fall is kindergarten.
I got to say, and I'm going to try, I'm about to be a bummer, but I have a feeling you and I will find a way to end it well. I know for me, we took our birthing class, and one of the things that the teacher had us do is very hippy-dippy, and the teacher had all the couples sit and face one another and say, you know, let's just get honest and tell your partner, like, what's your biggest fear about having a kid? Everybody's got fears. We don't always talk about them beforehand, and you should. And the logic made sense. You hear that, you go, oh, this is hard, but she's right. And she said, cool, like, don't overthink it. I'm going to say go, and someone needs to start talking. And she goes, 1, 2, 3, go. And I don't think this will surprise anybody, but I just immediately went, man, I hope Cal is not like me. And Hallie knew what I meant right away. And I love my son to death, but Hallie and I have both flagged moments where this kid feels his emotions hard in a way where she and I just look at each other. And it both scares me and also makes me immediately start thinking about how to help him. And I'm sure you've had that scary thought as well. And in a way that actually probably feels like advice for me. I'm wondering how you're thinking about strategizing that for the future.
I mean, for me, it's about being the good example. Like, I think my dad probably struggled with bipolar disorder, but he did like any sort of doctors or mental health professionals, and he was pretty abusive at times. And for me, it's making sure that, like, I'm open with them that, like, yeah, I'm bipolar, but, like, you know, this is how I deal with it. And so that, and showing them through just the example of my life that, like, you can be bipolar and do fucking triathlons and be an awesome mom and do whatever. And that they will feel open talking about any sort of mental health issues that they feel with me, and that we can go figure that out.
I mean, the phrase, you can be bipolar and do fucking triathlons and be an awesome mom, is kind of just the premise of Beautiful Anonymous in a way. It's kind of the people who listen to us. And I hear you. And, you know, I also sit here and I go, you know, there's a chance that someday your kid might go, Mom, why are your nipples leaking? And you're going to be like, because I fucking fight hard and work on myself, you know? That's why. Take that example. Take that example.
Touché.
Caller, we have less than a minute. Steven just sent an email. I want to read it, even though it's dark. We might go longer than the minute. As a depressed son of a dad who took his own life, I see it in my kid too. The difference that the caller, you and I have, is knowing what to look for and being super engaged and helping our kids get through it. It's a huge deal, and it gives me hope. Thanks for saying that, Stephen. That's really nice. Caller, our time together is up. Like I mentioned, I think with a live show, the 5 questions would feel a little strange. I do want to just take the time to ask you one, if that's okay. Let me go ahead.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I was excited for the 5 questions, but
yeah, we'll at least do one. I'll call up the random number generator. Oh, weird. The first question it asked me to ask you is, what's the best national secret you know? Gotta give credit. Someone emailed that I should do that. You fucking nailed it. No, let's do a couple. We'll do a couple speed round ones. I think that'll make sense with the live show. Sound good, caller?
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll close things out. Thanks so much to everybody who's been listening on the free feed. And now we'll have some of the live show experience behind the paywall. And I will also ask you, no, I don't want to ask you super sad ones. I want to ask you, I'm going to reserve the right. You guys just learned a secret is sometimes I do skip a question if it's like, no, that was already brutally sad. Oh, what's the worst thing you ever did as a kid and got away with? I love that one. Love that one.
Okay. This is a weird answer. I don't know if it's the word. I didn't do that much bad stuff, but I did get stuck in a washing machine once playing hide and seek. I would like
Punky
to say
Brewster?
that I won the hide and seek.
That was a refrigerator. Punky Brewster famously had an episode where you don't ever hide in a refrigerator during hide and seek. You get stuck in it, but you actually got stuck in a household appliance.
I got stuck in a laundry because it was a top loaded, so it had the agitator. So that was the problem, and it was a brand new washer. And I thought I was going to get in so much trouble because they had to like disassemble part of it to get me out. But they just laughed and took pictures. So that was the worst thing I did.
Did you say how old you were?
No, I was 12.
That's too old. That's too old. Okay, next question. Has anyone thrown something at you in anger, and what was it?
Oh, yes. So we were playing Risk, the board game. I was probably 7. And I made some random move that made my dad lose. So he threw the dice at my face in anger. This is more sad than funny, but yeah, that's my answer.
No, you mentioned that your dad was bipolar, and that's the type of thing as a kid where you're like, what the fuck, man? It's risky. Having to say that to your own dad, that's not a great moment. If you had to listen to one song for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh. This is randomly just because I heard it recently. It Ain't Necessarily So from Porgy and Bess.
Okay. This next question, it wants me to ask you what irrational fears do you have, but we already know your irrational fears are that you and Kamala Harris have been tasked with stopping war in the Middle East. We already heard that.
No, I wasn't afraid of that. I was excited about it.
Then what are your irrational fears? You can't after that be like, but I am scared of spiders. Like you can't do that. No, what are your irrational fears?
Ironically, since I did do a triathlon, my irrational fear is of drowning, though.
You're a badass. You conquered that one. Jumped right in that reservoir after many miles on a bike. What's a food you couldn't stand when you were a kid, but you like to eat now?
Pizza. Mostly we just ate way too much pizza growing up, but now I like it.
You truly cannot say you didn't like pizza in front of a New Jersey crowd. This last
but
question,
I like it now.
I mean, pizza's the fucking best.
Well, wait. Since we're in front of the Jersey crowd, can I shout out that Cluck You is the fucking best, though? And I'm sad we don't have it where I live.
Giving a shout out to Cluck You, that's like not a surface level. That's kind of a deep cut. This is not like one of the things you can get on Goldbelly, I don't think. This is not one of the things. This is not like Rutt's Hut that gets all the national attention. Cluck You. I remember once I was I was depressed, but I remember once taking a class at Rutgers where, State University, 400 kids in this philosophy intro class my freshman year. and you used to go in and sign your name in, and you realize like the professor has no idea who any of us are. So I went and signed my name in and then sat down next to my friend. I was like, actually, I'm kind of hungry. You want Cluck You? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm going to get Cluck You. You want me to bring you something back? And I came back like an asshole with a bunch of fucking chicken wings and ate them during this class. Real dickhead behavior. Anyway, okay. Final question. The 5 questions actually worked well. We just moved a little quicker. That's good to know. Oh, I don't know if this one's ever been asked before. What's your favorite app on your phone?
Oh.
You're trying to say one that's not Instagram or some bullshit. It's not
I'm
TikTok.
just going to be... No, I'm trying to think what apps are on my phone. I'm just going to say Spotify and be super basic.
That's fine. That's better than TikTok, just endless scrolling. This is, of course, the time where you leave us a question that will be asked to the next caller. All of us here will experience it live together. I'm going to just check and make sure there's no last minute reaction. Lindsay wrote, "Now we talk dogs." Kate wrote, "So about the dog."
We do want to get a dog soon.
You're looking to get a dog? What kind of dog you thinking?
Just a rescue.
Just a rescue. Good answer. People in the crowd saying, "Yup." I love that. My dog was a rescue. He got shipped up from Tennessee because I guess they have kill shelters down there, so they'll drive dogs up there to get them out of the kill shelters. And he's a pit-doodle, which we didn't know. We did the DNA test. He's half poodle, half pit. I say that I don't like him, and Hallie gets mad, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't like him, but I do love him. Like, he's pretty cool. I like that he protects Cal. He licks my face. When I've been gone for a long time, he's so visibly psyched to see me. And it's tough because I love my family to death, but there's times where I come home after a long day and I've been gone for like 12 hours and like my son doesn't give a shit. And my wife has been super stressed out and like the stress is still there. And then I do have to say, it's very cliche, but to walk in and be like, "I'm so happy to be home." And everybody else is kind of over it and stressed out. Oh man, the dog is fucking into me. Like I have fallen for it a couple times where I'm like, the dog loves me. If I get down on the ground, the dog shows me affection when everyone else is busy. Anyway, there's your behind the paywall dog talk, everybody. This dog is the star of the show. Andrea is now emailing me. He's a good dog. Andrea did dog sit the dog for a while and insists that he's a good dog, and he is a good dog, but he's also very bad. He sucks. He sucks around other dogs in particular. He has no friends. He can't have friends. He has no dog friends. He's an asshole to other dogs. Anyway, caller, you will now leave number 273. This will be your contribution to the list. What is the question we should ask moving forward to live crowds all over America and beyond, as well as to the next caller on the show?
Okay. If Kamala Harris rolled up with a tinted window SUV and picked you up for a day where you get to do anything you want, what do you do?
Caller, that was incredible. Thank you so much for being the perfect caller for episode 500 of Beautiful Anonymous. Thank you all so much to this lovely crowd for coming out. Thank you to our friend Jim for crushing it. Look at this sound setup that he built today. A huge round of applause to Brian. Vote Democrat. Everybody vote for Brian G. here in Atlantic Highlands. And, on the occasion of the 500, I will say thank you to all the people from Earwolf who helped build the show, especially Jared, especially Harry, especially Anita, and most of all, the person who I think, as the show went independent, so quickly learned the system and allowed it to survive, and who I would actually say, and I wonder if you guys would agree with me, perhaps, and it's not comparing anyone to the other, but in the independent era, I also feel like the calls are unpredictable and often good in ways that I don't see coming, and so much of that is because of the High Priestess Andrea Quinn, everybody. And thank you so much. I hope we get to do 500 more. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming out. And now I guess I'm just gonna... Caller, thank you so much. Listeners, thank you so much, especially those of you who have listened to my dumb voice 500 times. Andrea Quinn, I know you will roll your eyes at me saying this, but in so many ways, this show could have fallen apart when we left our network. You stepped right in seamlessly. Not only did you keep it going, but I think in so many ways, you actually made it better. I can't thank you enough. Thank you to Shell Shag for setting the tone of this show via our theme song for 500 episodes running. I love you guys. You are the best. We have a voicemail line. It's 973-306-4676. We're on Instagram at Beautiful Anonymous Pod. If you want to join the Facebook group to discuss episodes, that's Beautiful Anonymous, the community. T-shirts at chrisgethard.bigcartel.com. Info on live shows at punchup.live/Chris Gethard. Tell people we exist. 500 episodes. It felt really good. I hope we get to do 500 more, everybody. Thanks.